production manager here, and I'm a filmmaker, and I love movies.
Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. So this one is kind of similar to the Grammys episode we did, except instead of Lexi kind of not knowing as much as I do, I don't know anything about what happened last night for the Oscars, and these two are going to be educating me on them. I have seen a little bit, and I have my opinions on that, but I'm really interested to see what these guys think.
What movies have you seen that are nominated, that were nominated?
Wicked.
Wicked.
Pretty much it.
Did you
I did not see a lot recently. I'm a big rewatch of my favorites.
see Real Pain with...
Oh yes, okay, yeah. I
Yes,
saw
you
Real
saw
Pain. I saw Wicked. It's very little that I saw, but...
Alright, so the way we're doing this is we're going to go through categories, talk about the nominations, talk about who won, and talk about our thoughts. First up, let's talk about the actor in a leading role. For nominations, we've got Adrien Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice.
I saw A Complete Unknown.
Okay.
I did not see any of them.
Nothing, alright.
Nothing.
So I only saw one from this list. I saw Complete Unknown twice. I'm a humongous Bob Dylan fan.
Like humongous.
So I was hoping Timothée Chalamet would have won, but I also understand that Adrien Brody is great at what he does. When I've heard of The Bruce was pretty good, so no big surprise.
I was thinking that Timothy was going to win just based on how much time he put in it, because he said he spent like 5 years practicing his acting.
There's old clips of him on the Dune 1 set already practicing. And also, fun fact, would have made him the youngest Oscar winner by 8 months. First one was Adrien Brody for when he won for The Pianist. So that's pretty interesting. But Adrien Brody took that home, making him a 2-time Oscar winner. Actor in supporting role, we have Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, Euro Borisov for Nora, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. The winner was Kieran Culkin.
I did see this movie. A Real Pain was very good. His character specifically made me kind of like uneasy, which is the point. And I think from an actor's standpoint, he did a great job. So I think that's understandable.
Great.
Yeah, I totally think he deserves it for how quote unquote like hateable his character is. Like he really played it where you saw both sides of him, and you're just like, I'm rooting for you, but I'm also like, what the heck, man?
Because that's what it was. It was like mental whiplash where you're like, I can't stand you right now. But then like sometimes you love him. And it's like, that's the point.
Yeah. I guess Edward Norton, I did think that he was going to win for A Complete Unknown just because his character was pretty...
So yeah, Edward Norton plays Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown.
Sorry, go.
He plays Pete Seeger. For those of you who don't know, that's a real life folk singer, and he was in like unfathomably accurate portrayal. If you see real clips of the Pete Seeger, like he's spot on. So I was really surprised. I would have liked to see him won. I am again a huge fan of folk music, so would have been great. But I also really love Kieran Culkin. I think he is a great actor. He was awesome in Succession, which he also won a Best Acting award against Jeremy Strong, so that's 2 times now. I really liked Euro Borisov for Nora. He was tremendous in that movie, very, very subtle. You could argue that at points it was his movie from his point of view, but we'll get into Nora.
Okay.
Because up next we have actress in the leading role. Our nominees are Mikey Madison for Nora,
Cynthia Erivo,
for Wicked,
Carla Sofia Gascon
for Amelia Perez, Demi Moore for Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Our winner is Mikey Madison. Anybody see Nora?
Did not see Nora, but I saw Wicked, and I think Cynthia Erivo also deserved it. So I will have to say, having them perform, that her and Ariana Grande, if you will, performing that like so beautiful. It just was giving the Grammys again with Billie Eilish making her perform and then sit through the whole thing and not win anything.
All right.
Yeah. I know you.
I saw Nora. It was my favorite film of last year, and I did cry a lot last night when she won. I've never had that reaction, but Nora was such an incredible movie. She was so her performance. I don't know. It was just so perfect. It was so raw and so human, and her character was just so realistic. I mean, this isn't somebody you want to be like, but it's somebody that we see ourselves in. Very final girl for a horror movie. Seeing this character survive so much and be so resilient, but also not learn anything, but maybe she does, that's what's great about her. Then seeing Mikey Madison win was just awesome. Very deserving. I mean, that's just such a great performance. She's also now tied with, I think, 3 other nominees for youngest actress in a leading role at 25. So
Nice.
that's pretty interesting. Up next, we've got actress in a supporting role. Our nominees are Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, and Isabella Rossellini for Conclave.
I think that Zoe Saldana is a beautiful actress. She's so good at what she does. She's in a lot of my favorite films, Avatar specifically. I think she deserved to win. I don't agree with for what project it was. I didn't actually watch it all the way. I just saw bits of it, and I was like, from just the bits I saw, it's like, that is, I don't know. She's very talented and definitely deserves an award, but I think it should have been for any of her other projects that she's been on.
It doesn't support who she is as an actress, I think. I think she's done a lot of better acting for it, and I think out of that list, she wasn't high.
And I feel like it's they're kind of shot to try to be inclusive. So they're like, oh, we got it, it's like, well, we kind of did it not right, but whatever.
Up next, we've got animated feature film. We've got Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance, Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. The winning is...
A weenie.
Winner was Flow. Did you guys see Flow?
No, but now that you said it, it makes me want to watch it.
I watched it. It was awesome. It was a
Yeah.
very well animated, but also just interesting seeing that kind of story. There isn't a beginning and end. It's just you're a fly on the wall. And you get to watch a cat.
Yeah, and I want to be that.
A cat survive. And it's
I
not.
love that.
And it's not an animated movie that really looks down on its characters. I mean, quite literally looks up at them. So there's a lot of authority given to a cat. There was a capybara in Flow. He was a supporting character, and he was so goddamn likable. He's there to help out. He doesn't bother anybody. He does his job.
That's what capybaras are. They get along with every
He
so many
saves the
species.
day quite a bit, and you're just like, this is awesome.
For animated feature, I will say, I'm glad that Flow won, but Inside Out 2 I really liked it. I think it was, we haven't seen portrayal exactly of what an anxiety attack feels like that is digestible to kids. And I think that that's really good, and it made me cry when I watched it. It was really well done because it's true how self-destructing that can be.
Up next, I'm going to go over directing, because again, this is a big one for me.
For phase.
We've got Sean Baker for Nora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jacques
Jaquise Audier?
for
I'm so
Emilia
sorry.
Perez, and
Corley Fargiat.
for The Substance. Winning was Sean Baker for Nora. I now understand what people feel like when they watch their team win the Super Bowl. This was another one that had me really celebrating and rejoicing. Sean Baker is one of my favorite filmmakers. Not just his mentality, but his filmography is just brilliant, and he's unrelentlessly and unapologetically himself. He's an indie filmmaker, and he still is. Tangerine was his first feature length, and it was made on 3 iPhones. He then sold one of the iPhones to pay rent after the movie, and then donated one of them to a museum. And he really shows what it means to be a filmmaker and artist and stick to what you are. In his speeches from the Oscars, I mean, you just really see that he cares so much about not just his films, but telling people's stories.
It's important right now because I feel like a lot of the times, especially recently, media's just been get the next new shiny thing out, make money, make a buck, get it as quickly, and it's not about quality, it's just about quantity and how much you can capitalize off of it. So when people actually care and make stories, it shows, and it's showing that maybe we'll have a kind of a swing of it being no, people are gonna actually take time to write good stories.
We're gonna go up to film editing. Next, we've got Sean Baker for Nora. He edits his own movies, which is really great. David Jonsko for The Brutalist. Nick Emerson for Conclave. Juliette Welfling for Emilia Perez, and Miran Kirstein for Wicked. Sean Baker won for Nora. I think it's great because I love Sean Baker. I love Nora. And he edits his own movies. I think it's really great
cool.
a director and writer to then also do that.
I think that's important too, especially if you have a vision as a director, you should have a hand in editing it. Otherwise, it might not come across the way you wanted it originally.
Exactly. For writing, for original screenplay, I want to bring it up because this is an Honora episode.
It literally is.
For nominees, we've got Honora, The Brutalist, The Real Pain, written by Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes, I love Jesse Eisenberg. I originally, when we watched it, Lexi was like, "Oh, Will was gonna watch it. We should watch it." And I was like, "It's got Jesse Eisenberg. Put that on."
I still have yet to see A Real Pain, but does he play weirdo like he does in all his movies?
You're gonna love it.
Strange white boy. Strange white boy.
Strange, awkward, and unsettled white boy.
Complete unknown.
Yeah.
Shout out Timothy Chalamet. Bob Dylan. We also got a movie called September 5th. I've never heard of.
That was, that came out recently.
September 5th?
Yeah. That's about September 5th.
And The Substance, and we can talk a little bit about the nominations for The Substance, but winner was Sean Baker for Honora. Incredible
So
script.
he wrote, directed, and edited that entire thing?
And produced, because it is a indie movie, $6 million budget, which, that's incredible.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, he won for that writing. It's such a great script. It's so funny and so raw and human and scary. Speaking of all those things, we're going to go up to
Best Picture?
Best Picture, thank you.
Yep, I think you skipped it. While you're doing that and finding it, I will say it is kind of devastating. Not devastating. I was kind of sad because I think Wicked was really well done and nostalgic, and I think a lot of people worked on it really hard, especially Ariana Grande. Like she went and saw like the original cast, and like that was like a moment for her to be in it. So I was like, it was really well done. Everything was beautiful, but I'm not as upset about it as I was with the Grammy stuff because the part 2 is coming out this year, and that's gonna qualify for the next round, and they'll have another chance for that entire kind of thing to make it through.
Best Picture was Honora. As I told everybody so far, I started hyperventilating when I saw that. I really thought The Brutalist was going to win. I would have been okay with The Complete Unknown winning. Bob Dylan, me.
Your favorite?
But I was on a website seeing the live updates, and I refreshed and saw that Honora won, and I started hyperventilating and shaking and crying, and it was an incredible feeling. This movie, again, it's such a human story, and I could get into all those movies, but Sean Baker just knows how to portray humans at their ugliest and at their best. And there's stories that they believe in their character so much, and the cinema verte style is just perfect.
There's a depth also of characters written too, because I've seen some recently where I'm like, you did not write the character like he or she had anything behind their eyes.
Yeah.
To be honest, you kind of just left it up to the actor, which is nice and it's good, but it's like you should give. From an actor standpoint, I like when I'm given direction. It's like who this character is, and then let me explore it on my own, how they would have done. But it's just when you have an actual vision for it, it's a lot nicer instead of just I want you physically to do, but the rest of it's so important, the mental part of it. So.
This is, of any of his movies, I think this is the most distant from maybe his own story. It's a lot about sex workers and their culture. And so he left that up for Mikey Madison to kind of research and stuff. Again, it's very cinema verte. He just kind of stood there with the camera and let the story happen. You definitely get that with this movie because it's just, you're seeing these people's lives and kind of the faults of that.
So overall, big win for you.
Huge win for the theme here, being me and indie filmmakers, I guess, I don't know. But I could go in more depth with Honora, but I want to talk a little bit about any movies that you didn't see nominated at all that you thought deserved anything.
To be honest, I didn't get to see many in theaters recently. Besides, Wicked was nominated, but I didn't really
I
care.
thought Nosferatu was gonna win something for
Yeah.
costuming, at least, or set design. I saw that one in theaters, and I thought that was pretty well done.
Both of which actually went to Wicked, so. Yeah, I didn't see a ton of movies, but the ones I saw.
Wicked winning costuming makes sense, though.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
For sure. I didn't know how much costuming went into that. They said 128 extras or something like that that they had a costume for.
Yeah.
But I thought set design for sure. Nosferatu, because of how much research had to go into that.
Yeah, definitely.
Another one I still need to see. I've been terrible with that. I've been reading, guys, actually. That's what I've been doing. I've been reading and rewatching the same stuff over. I'm a chronic rewatch of stuff I've seen. So.
No, I was really happy with the nominations this year, of course. Honora won. I think it's really important. Not just that story, but the indie filmmaking. Because it's a big year for indie films and horror movies, because something we didn't really talk about is The Substance being nominated for a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Demi Moore winning a ton of awards for acting. It's very important because it's kind of been a tradition that the Academy Awards acts like horror movies don't exist. And this year I think they really kind of picked the most overly or well-produced and kind of overly produced movie, the horror genre being The Substance, and we're like, hey, this is your thing, guys. And so I think it's definitely a step in the right direction, even though it didn't really win anything.
Yeah.
It was still really important that it was there.
And even nominated. I'm surprised actually Gladiator 2 didn't. It was big, at least for me and my media. It was a big stink made about it, and like all this stuff. So I was surprised
it
it
was
wasn't.
pretty good.
Yeah,
A lot of people liked it.
I'm surprised it wasn't on more things.
I haven't seen Gladiator 2.
It was in theaters for like 2 months.
Yeah.
It was there for a long
It-
time.
Yeah, it's definitely Ridley Scott really likes to have his movies out there. Biggest thing is I would have really liked to have seen Saturday Night get nominated for a lot more or
I
anything.
forgot that it came out.
Exactly, because that movie
Yeah.
was awesome. It was definitely a top 3 of mine for last year. I loved it. It was so chaotic and just so funny, and such a great story about kind of the unrelenting human spirit. A roller coaster of humor. Jason Reitman, I think, directed it. I've been a fan of a lot of his work before, but this one definitely captured the spirit of that cast, and I think all these portrayals are really dead on. And I'm a huge Saturday Night Live fan. What's wrong?
Nothing. You burped and I can smell it.
But anyway, Saturday Night would have liked more nominations, at least for adapted screenplay or cinematography. I think that movie looked awesome. It was really well made. And it really felt like it was out of the kind of the 60s, 70s.
But you can't be mad that Honora swept.
I'm never gonna be mad about Honora sweeping, and it's the final girl. Come on, man.
Yes.
Speaking of the 70s, another movie that nobody talked about was a movie called A Different Man, starring Sebastian Stan. That movie was incredible. It was so funny and so unpredictable. I mean, I had no idea what this movie was going to be about, let alone, I don't know, you don't know anything about the movie, just go in unknowing. It's streaming on HBO Max. But this movie is so well made, it could have came out in the 70s. We'd have no idea. A24 produced it. It also has Adam Pearson, who's disabled, but he suffers from something that is highlighted a lot in the movie. So having somebody portray themselves in that sense is really great. It was really interesting seeing the awards this year. I really like to think the Academy Award is trying new things. Last time that would have happened is back in the early 80s when they were changing the rating systems and the rules of voting. So for those of you who don't know, there was a rule in the Academy Awards that you had to have worked on a movie in the past 7 or 8 years to be a voter for the Academy. And they changed that because there were a lot of movies being nominated in the 80s that were very kind of out of touch with what people wanted. And I think the Academy is trying to get more viewers this year. And so they were like, hey, let's start nominating movies that people talk about and actually like. I think this year is definitely a step in the right direction, with indie movies being represented and horror movies getting shout-outs and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it's a great year, but it's also because my favorite movie swept it.
The only thing I saw, like genuinely saw from the Oscars for the most part, was Adam Sandler. That's all I saw. Chalamet! So yeah. Any other things from you, Lexi? Thoughts?
I think it was a pretty great year for the Academy in general. I think highlighting those smaller indie films was great, just because I think what carries a lot of movies is that story, and in the past we haven't seen a lot of that. It's been a lot about who's in it and who made it, and this was more about storytelling, and I think that was important to see. I don't really have any big quantums.
No, me neither. Quantums?
I don't know what I just made up.
Yeah, no big qualms. My only thing was like the Wicked thing, and like, I don't know. It stinks because they like put their whole heart and soul in it, but so did the rest of those people. It's all very deserving. It's hard to be mad at anybody. It's not like the Grammys for us. Like,
It's a musical.
Exactly
It's
true.
a
It's
niche
already
set of audience.
already very much niche, and it's surprising that it made it. I think the only reason it did is because of the nostalgia it carries. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Go watch movies in theaters. Watch Nora, please. That movie is so great. Watch movies. Watch any of Sean Baker's movies or any movies that have ever existed ever or been created. Go watch his speeches from his wins. They're really great and very honest and very wholesome and hopeful. Yeah, just go experience movies in theaters and at home with people you love or by yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say. Movies.
On the same vein, what is a movie that you're excited that's going to be coming out?
Man, I would have to look at. Let me look up real quick.
I've got two.
I'm so excited for Superman. Y'all don't get it. I'm so excited. I don't care. If it's bad, I'll cry. But
Yeah.
I'm just so excited. Because the trailer,
Yeah, but that's how I feel about Avatar 3 is coming out in December, and also the live-action version of How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, and the new Jurassic World movie. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that because it's rated R.
yeah.
Um,
I am actually, this is niche, but Freakier Friday, I'm excited
Oh,
for that. Because it
okay.
has original cast in it.
Oh,
Jamie Lee Curtis and
yeah.
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
I'm looking at upcoming releases. Shrek 5.
Why did they do that?
A little one for me is Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm a huge horror buff. I really love the Final Destination movies. They're very stupid and awesome.
Oh, yes.
My favorite filmmaker, Paul Thomas Anderson, has a movie coming out, I think later in August, with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. So I'm really excited for that. I think he's great. He's just very much like Sean Baker, where they kind of stick to what they kind of care about.
I'm excited for Snow White only because I really love Rachel Zegler. I could care less about the rest of it. I love her and I would support her till the day I die. So. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Lexi and Raegan and Will trying to recap the Oscars this year. Yes, you can watch the rest of our stuff on the Pointer Studios YouTube channel. Also, we're on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to say, co-host?
Let us know what you want us to try next.
Yes.